How many murderers does the average person shoot a podcast with?
Anywhere from 25 to 50 serial killers are walking around in the US right now, and you will walk past 36 murderers in your lifetime. If we are talking to 50 to 100 people a day, we're the ones pulling the average up.
2 facts you wish you didn't know. First one is... What's up, you guys? Thanks for tuning in to the Purpose Driven Persuasion podcast, where if you're a highly ambitious person, you're going to learn how to go from being unfocused to unstoppable, and specifically by applying the tactics, strategies, and learning from the results of persuasion and influence demonstrated at a high level. What that means for you is by applying the things we talk about in this podcast of sales skills or persuasion and influence, you can become the most persuasive, influential, and impactful version of yourself and better serve the people around you that you love and care about the most. I'm your host, Hayden Schaap. For the last 10 years, I've obsessively tried to learn, apply, and teach these skills of persuasion and influence at the highest level, and have seen incredible results in my own life and the people that we've worked with, and that's what we're talking about. Give us a like, subscribe to our YouTube channel, check us out on all of the audio platforms as well. Make sure you follow for more. If you get some value out of this, I'd really appreciate if you shared it with somebody else as well, because I think a lot of people could benefit. Enjoy the episode, guys.
Are there more doors or wheels in the world?
Oh, more doors or... Well, my first response was wheels, but I was only thinking about doors on the front of houses.
Doors.
How many doors? There's got to be more doors than wheels.
Are there?
They're more homeowners than...
What about, is a doorknob technically a wheel? It's like a type of...
No. Wrench in the plan.
Oh, F.
Wait, dude, the more you think about it, in general.
Round objects? Is that because that's not a wheel? A door's not a wheel.
Well, like that's not a wheel, but like
is this a wheel?
Object? Is this a wheel?
Yeah. What kind of wheels are we talking?
I have no idea. I didn't make the rules.
Are there more Heelys than doors?
Yeah, that's what I was saying before we went live. Is we need to make some freaking. We need to install some Heelys, high quality, electric powered Heelys into some Air Max 90s. Yeah, electric dude.
Powered Heelys.
Can you imagine just the monstrosity those are? I mean, like, imagine that. How big are those going to be, you know?
Dude, this would be the best. It's like the perfect getaway from like a tough objection
from somewhere.
You know? Dude, okay, so I'll start. We wanted to tell some fun, back with David and Hyrum Smith on the podcast.
Oh, no, I was looking up. So, facts you didn't know, facts you'll wish you didn't know.
Okay.
There we go. And there are anywhere from 25 to 50 serial killers are walking around in the U.S. right now. And the second thing is you will walk past 36 murderers in your lifetime. Like the average, on average, right? Some people may walk by more. Some people may... No. Like, how many people do we talk to a day? Literally, like, how many people do we talk to?
One? 2 facts you wish you didn't know. First one is...
First one... Anywhere from 25 to 50 serial killers are walking around in the U.S. right now, and you will walk past 36 murderers in your lifetime.
Ugh.
How many?
So if we are talking to like anywhere from 50 to 100 people a day,
dude, there's no way we haven't talked.
We're the high end of that. Yeah. Like we're the ones pulling the average up.
Yeah, dude.
We've probably talked to, right? I mean, how many doorsteps? I've probably been on more doorsteps than like the average person times like 10. Right?
Many multiples more than that.
Yeah.
Even in the short time that we've been.
You just like this. as like a 25-year-old. I mean, like,
how many murderers does the average person shoot a podcast with?
Dude, okay, so what were you saying? You said your wife loves murder mystery stuff, right? My wife's obsessed with that.
All women, right? It's like a girl.
Is it like, is that a female thing, or is it like?
No, it actually is. That's why like the top like half of the top 15 podcasts on the Apple Store are all serial.
It's got to be like multi-species stuff too, because like my dogs, I have one boy, one girl, and the girl's just like she can't help but just watch the exits all the time.
She's more like, paranoid.
No, literally, I'll be like, Zella, come cuddle, and she'll cuddle with me for like 5 minutes, and then she's like, I'm out. But where is she facing? Always at the door, literally always.
That's
but then
crazy.
But then the boy like doesn't even care. He's just like wants love. That's it.
Yeah, I mean,
your dogs are really cute.
They are cute,
really, yeah.
And sometimes not cute, but most of the time.
The doors make you hate dogs so much. And not only that, but also like hate people who have dogs.
Have you guys ever been? Yeah, which is everyone. Do you guys?
It makes me appreciate
I
good
actually
dogs.
respect you less because you have dogs. I don't know if that's that actually might be true
Do you
subconsciously.
feel probably, dude? Probably.
No, honestly,
legit,
I
though.
don't like dogs. I don't. I think they're. It's more actually comes from like knocking on people who talk about how like they may like can't afford this situation, or like maybe they're in like a not a good situation. I just got through a divorce and everything, and they have like 15 dogs. It's like, bro, how much does that
How many
cost?
people do you know? How many people have you ever talked to that
15's an
were getting a
exaggeration.
divorce and have 15?
No,
dogs?
I just mean struggling financially and like have a family.
Just calls out the one person in the U.S.
Oh, dude,
Freaking
okay.
Betty, sell your dogs.
I hate you.
Janice, 2nd Street down the road from Carl.
Yeah, Applewood
Shout out
Way,
Carl.
256
Still
Applewood
active
Way.
customer. What we wanted to do for this episode was just tell some funny stories from the doors, because we talk to so many people a day. I mean, if you're knocking all day, you talk to 80 to 100 people a day.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, dude, I don't know if I've ever gone out and knocked doors and not talked to someone that was either like legitimately crazy or just like beyond interesting, like so fascinating to talk to that you're like, dang, this is like not a normal interaction you would have with someone.
Can I share
Good or bad? Yeah, go
real
ahead.
quick? Well, just since we're talking about dogs, last year, and this doesn't even happen to me, but so Eno, who's one of our like top reps, he was just out knocking, and he rang this doorbell, and he just hears this like super loud bark from the inside of this house, and then like running, and then he sees this dog coming for the door. And it was like, you know how you have the door and then you have like the windows on either side?
Yeah.
This dog smashes through the window and just shatters it. And Anna just like takes off running. And then what did he say in the chat? He like put in the group chat like, dog broke window, and like nothing else. And then from then on, like we'll just randomly, it's like,
what?
Yo, can I get a dog broke window in the chat? And then everyone will just start sending
Dog
dog broke window.
Broke window, broke dog window.
Broke window dog. But anyways,
so funny.
Have you
since
guys
we're
ever
talking
been
about
bit by a dog?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never
I don't
been bit by a
think I
dog
have.
before.
I've been bit like 3 times, and every time, like, the owner of the dog is pissed at me. And I don't understand. I'm like, your dog just bit me. And they're like, get the fuck out of here. I'm like,
Bro, can I just tell you,
Dude,
this
I
has
don't
nothing
know.
to do
So
with
I
door to door.
avoid dog. I avoid dog situations like the plague. I can't like I don't think I've ever been. There's been one time in my 10 years of knocking doors where I felt like I was going to be attacked by a dog. And
How?
Here's
it was
the problem.
my fault.
Bro,
How?
here's the
You
problem.
go knock on the door. They come
Okay, I
running
knock
out
on
of
the
the
door.
doggy flap.
Okay.
What do you do?
First of all, like
He knows all the
checking my
signs.
surroundings. Yeah, all the signs. So like, I freaking know how thick that glass is and how big the dog is before I even knock that door. It's like
Yo,
like
here's the
radar
problem.
detector. It's
Yeah,
like
it's like
width of
heat
the
What's
sensors.
crazy, and this happens, this is a common phenomenon, is that, like guys that work with us, they'll get bit by a dog and then the owner will be pissed at them. And fundamentally, can I just say, this is the issue. This is the issue with dogs, okay? Is because it's the problem is that the owners of dogs view them not as animals, but as children, or like slightly less than children, generally speaking.
I mean,
fair.
Generally speaking, right? And so what happens, it's like as the same as if your child were to bite someone, right? Like you'd be pissed at the
then they
child.
probably
Like,
kicks
what'd you
your
do to make
child.
my kid bite you? You're like,
They'd be pissed at
I
the
didn't
child.
do anything. Your kids have freaking rabies.
They're pissed at the child. But if you then go like drop kick the kid across the yard, that's not going to go over well. That's the problem, is that fundamentally I view dogs as animals and nothing more. I don't view them as humans. Anyone that I'm talking to as a dog views them as their child. So already we're starting from completely different premises.
Yeah,
like we're
fair.
not even on the same league. It'd be like if I viewed your children as animals, so I could like kick them.
But here's the thing: it's like
that
the
would be
reason-
super messed up.
The reason
for me,
why
right?
you idiots get bit by dogs and I don't is because
You're a
I already
dog
know that they
whisperer.
want to bite me. So like I'm already like operating under the assumption that I'm probably gonna get bit unless I'm really careful. The only time I've ever felt in danger by a dog is I was knocking Virginia. It was my 4th summer knocking Virginia, and we were kind of in this area that's like, I mean, there's trees everywhere in Virginia. It's a bit like Atlanta, but not as like tucked into forests. Basically.
Yeah. We grew up in
You know what I mean?
Connecticut. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so it's very similar feel, that East Coast vibe. But so I'm in this area where it's like older neighborhood in Alexandria, but like stupid rich neighborhood, although it was very old houses. So they were all like $1 million plus properties, but didn't look like that for whatever reason. They just were in this prime spot, I guess. I don't know. So I'm walking like to a callback, and I didn't have a Segway at this time. And I see this guy that I'd seen a couple times that day who had a pit bull, and he had been walking the pit bull. He had walked him at least twice. But this third time I saw him, I'm like, from a distance, I can see him not with a leash this time. So the pit bull is off leash, and it's like wandering around. And this was like a hyper dog. So the first 2 times I saw him, it was pulling on the leash, right? So I'm like, dude.
So the dog was barking at you, pulling on the leash the first 2 times.
Well, it was just energetic and like not loose leash, so it wasn't well trained, obviously.
Yeah. So, and then you see him again, no leash.
So as soon as I see him, I'm like, all right, dude, I'm not knocking the street. So I turn the corner, go around the other street. The guy had also turned the corner ahead of me, not knowing, and then is walking toward me right as I turn the corner to go straight again. I'm like, dude, this is not good. This freaking pit bull. So it sees me and just starts running after me. I'm like, dude, this is not happening. So I like jumped on a car. I didn't know what else to do because by that time it was really close. And sure enough, it's just like sitting there like waiting and barking. I'm like, dude, get your freaking dog on a leash so that I can like do my job. He's like, well, just doesn't normally do that. So like, I'm usually good. I'm like, dude, no, get your effing dog on a leash so I can go do my job. But it just had me pinned on this car. I don't know what to
insane. Pit bulls are the scariest to me. More than Rottweilers. Pit bulls look like they've been. Every pit bull I've ever seen looks like it just got out of like prison. Every single pit bull. They look like they should have tats. You know what I mean?
Pit bulls are dope. I actually really like pit bulls, but like any dog, you have to be careful if it's like acting like that, you know?
Yeah.
Freaking barking and just like chilling there waiting for me to get off this car.
Well, didn't Dad just post in our family group chat about like?
Yeah, I was thinking our dad just like sent this gnarly link of this pit bull that like ate 2 girls or something like that.
Oh my family,
like actually, like in their family, he'd been in their family.
Like it'd been in their family. My dad's text, sorry to send this disturbing video, but hope none of you get pit bulls.
Oh my gosh. Well, so and that being said, like if I knock a door and I hear dogs just going crazy, and then the owner comes up and he's trying to talk to me through the screen door or whatever, and the dogs are still just barking, I'm like, I'll come back later. I'm not gonna deal with this right now. They're like, hey, like you can step out if you want to, like take a step back and just start like looking around.
Yeah.
Usually they step out. But if they don't,
you leave.
Like, see it, dude.
The line I use, it doesn't even make sense, but I just say it every time. I'm like, sorry to interrupt your dog if you just want to come out.
Interrupt your dog.
Doesn't even make sense, but it works. People are like, oh yeah, like
sorry to interrupt your dog.
They just come out.
Sometimes when you was
watching TV.
Have you ever like dogs will bark when you talk, but not when the owner talks? You know what I'm talking about?
No, dude.
Does that happen?
I'm a dog whisperer, so typically
it doesn't happen, bro. I'm telling you, maybe it's my hatred for dogs. Maybe
probably, yeah, they can sense it, dude.
They can sense my hatred, bro. Every time, I'm like, they'll give me. I'm just like, yeah. Anyway, so what we do for the eves is. At this point, I'm just like, I look at the dog. Whenever a dog is like barking at it, I'll just like look at it and stop talking. So they know that I'm triggered at their dog. And then usually they're either like, yeah, we're not interested. It's like, good. I didn't want to sell you anyway because you're a dog owner. Or they're the parent that doesn't like the dog.
Yeah.
And they're like, shut it at, or like, have you had it where like people just like cussing the balls off of their dogs?
their dog.
Before they open the door? Like, ding dong. You mother. Shut up. And then like beating sounds and stuff. Like, you're like, oh my. And then they answer, hey man, how you doing?
I'm so sorry.
Hey dude, I'm so sorry about that. What can I do for you? You're like, holy,
dude, just like livid, like they could have just killed somebody. They show up to like scream bloody murder, and they come like, "Can I help you?"
Hi, I'm so sorry about that. Yeah, what can I do for you?
Like, what is that?
I can hear you.
What is that? Why do people like? I don't
know, dude.
I saw you do that. Not scream like that to your dogs, but I've never seen you like be upset or like angry or even like stern with people. Like maybe like once, but I came over to your house and you're like, "What's your dog's name?"
Is Zella or Indy? It's probably Indy because
maybe it's Indy. You're
puppy,
like, you're just like, Indy, sit down, and I was like, Hayden. I've never seen you that bad. But you're just like communicating.
This is why my dogs are freaking amazing, because like I'm very stern with them.
Yeah.
That is the issue. It's actually it's less dogs. It's more just like dog owners have no idea what they're doing. They just buy them as cute puppies, and then they just like want to beat them by the time they're older.
Loud. So when I was 21 years old, I had big dreams of a few things. Becoming a millionaire by the time I was 30, that was a big goal of mine. I wanted to own my own business, and I wanted to create financial freedom through investing in real estate, startups, any other type of vehicle that would give me passive income so that I could really provide for my family and my parents in a significant way because of how much they sacrificed for me growing up. I didn't grow up in the most well-off household, and so I really wanted to create a life for my family that they could be comfortable. I'm a grandchild of immigrants, and I had a lot of people in my life that came before me that have sacrificed a ton to create the good things that I have. I wanted to create financial freedom so that I could give back and serve significantly. I thought I was going to do that by, first off, playing football in the NFL. I obsessed over football growing up, but then I quickly got cut from my college team upon arriving, basically. So then I thought I was going to do that by getting into a prominent business school and excelling there, and then, getting a high-paying job out of college. And I didn't get into any of the business schools that I applied for, and there were more than one. So I had some, learning disabilities and a couple other things that felt like held me back in that way. Bottom line, it just didn't work. So after all the failed attempts to make money and try to achieve my dreams early, I was basically desperate and just really didn't think that it would all work out. I was doing a bunch of these hourly jobs and barely making ends meet and donating plasma, all the things you do when you're a poor college kid. I had a friend approach me and say that he had made $50,000 doing a sales job during the summer in between semesters. And he was a really well-known and highly prominent athlete. I had grown up hearing about how good he was at football. And so we became friends after I got home from a mission for my church. I just trusted him. So I looked into it. I ended up doing this sales job thinking that it would just be a better way to hold me over while I really figured out how I was going to provide financially for my family and really make a big dent in my dreams. Fast forward a few years later, I was with the same company doing that job over and over again while I was going to school, making hundreds of thousands of dollars, and now coaching and teaching other people how to do the same thing. It completely changed my life in a way that I did not expect, learning how to persuade and influence people at a high level because you practice that day in and day out. That translated over into every other relationship and aspect of my life that I care more about than just sales. And then obviously financially being able to get well ahead of all of my peers and the other people who were not willing to make those sacrifices of doing that sales job during the summer in the off months of school. And then fast forward even more ahead, I was able to become a millionaire by 26 and have a multiple $1 million net worth by the time I was 30, upwards of $10 million plus, and invest in real estate early on in my 20s, be able to give back and help pay for mission trips and do service opportunities that I just otherwise wouldn't have had. But what I'm most proud of is being able to give my family, my parents, my wife, my immediate family the life that they just really never had growing up. Because I think deep down we all want to be the type of people that when all is said and done, we actually have made a difference in other people's lives. And I feel like that's actually really the deep result of what this job ended up doing for me in a way that I just did not expect. Long story short, I'm obsessed with teaching the same things to other people. And since I have gotten to management and now I'm a partner in our company, I've been able to work with upwards of over 1,000 sales reps who are young, ambitious, college-age kids mostly, who start doing this job just to pay for school, but end up finding out that it's highly impactful for every other aspect of their life. So right now we are hiring and we have limited spots available to take on of people. So if you're interested, there's a link in the description of this video or in my bio. You can check that out, apply and see if you're a good fit or a candidate for this job. We have personality profiles that can match you with income and earning potential that is very much historically accurate of people that have gone in our program before. And if you take the leap of faith and at least learn about whether this could be a good fit for you, I think you're going to be not only really impressed, but if your results are even half as good as what everyone else has gone through this program has experienced, the only problem that you'll have is that one, you didn't know about this sooner, and two, that you didn't sign up and try to do it yesterday. All right, so give it a shot. Check out the link in my bio, and I'll see you guys in the rest of the episode.
One thing I will say is like it's with the doors, like you do meet crazy people and there are crazy experiences. But it's actually crazy too if you just talk to, if you're actually going out and you're talking to like 60, 70 people a day, you meet some like really incredible people too. Yeah. Like actually, just even if it's like a 10-minute interaction and you sell them or whatever, and there's just like actually some really good people out there who just, I don't know. I remember one time I was knocking with Marcus. I was shadowing Marcus, and this one couple answers the door, and they were with this other pest control company, and Marcus was like, yeah, like, just transitioned, whatever. And they're like, oh, like we hate them so much. Like they suck. And started like ripping on this company. But then they were just like so nice to us. And Marcus was leaning on one of their, it was like a pole or like a pillar that was like supposed to be holding up the house. And he like was leaning on it. And the whole pillar just like fell down.
What?
And this was like after we had like made the sale. They hadn't given us the card yet. And Marcus like looked at me. I'll never forget the look on his face. He just looks at me and he's like, bro. He was just like so.
Were they talking with you or were they inside?
No, they were talking. Well, she was talking with us. Her husband was like back inside. But I remember she's like, oh my gosh, don't even worry. And it was like a big deal. I was like, we just like destroyed your property. Like, what do you mean? It was just like so nice. Like, just like the salt of the earth, the nicest lady. And she ended up buying and gave us like food. And anyways, it's just crazy.
Dude, so I have a funny segue story. I'm like knocking, basically me and Cole, I knocked for a month with him and then he continued to knock the rest of the summer. But we would just knock the same right next to each other. And basically in the same neighborhood for like almost the entire month, just over and over and over again. We would knock it, and our goal was to like be the neighborhood bug guys, and that everyone knew us and like had a really good interaction, whether they bought or not. So, like we had a super good reputation on the Facebook page. Like everyone loved us, right? It's like the Moxie Boys, and so there was this one house on the street that I just had never talked to anyone at the house. I'd knocked it probably like 15 times. So finally, it's like my last street of the night, and it's getting dark, and I knock this house. This guy comes out. I'm like, oh, finally someone's here. He comes out. He's like, hey, dude, I'm not interested whatsoever, but are you the only one out here on that thing? And I was like, what thing? And I look around. He's like pointing at my Segway, right? He's like, yeah, I'm not interested, but like, are you on that thing? And I was like, yeah. I was like, have you seen me like driving around? And I just said hi, like, because I would say hi to everybody. And I try to memorize people's names too. It's like, have I said hi to you before? He's like, no. Someone just sent a video on the Facebook page of someone just beefing it on one of those things. And it's like the most hilarious thing I've ever seen. I just wanted to thank you. I was like, oh no, that's not me, dude. That's Cole. So the day before, Cole just ate it so hard on his Segway. And we became like even more popular and famous in that neighborhood, and just everybody was buying from us. And it became this thing like, oh, the Moxie Boys, and like, oh, like they were trying to like help him out because he fell and like hurt himself or whatever. Yeah. So it was like this sympathy thing too. But I saw the video, and it's so funny because like you see him go across the camera, and then all of a sudden like you see him fall forward, and the Segway just goes flying, just like launches.
The Segway flew.
Did it hit a rock or something?
I don't know. He said he hit a curb, but it's hard to tell because the video is kind of blurry. But anyway, it was just funny because I'm like, no, I mean, I've seen you maybe. I don't know. He's like, no, like someone just ate it so hard. I'm not interested, but thank you. I was like, oh, no, that wasn't me.
There was a rep who, this was back in San Diego. Jake was telling us about it, but there's a rep. You know how when you're walking, we all are really used to like just walking down the street and being on our phone because you're walking, you're not going that fast. When you get really used to being on a Segway, you'll be cruising like, 15 miles an hour, 20 miles an hour, and you're just looking down at your phone and not thinking about it, that you're going that fast. It feels like you're walking.
Yeah.
And there was a rep who was like on his iPad and segwaying, and I've done this so many times too, but not this bad. But he literally was on his iPad and he was just segwaying, like cruising down the street, and there was a parked car on that side of the street.
No, dude.
And dude, this rep flew through the back like window, like shattered the whole window, and was like in the car with like he's just looking at area one moment. He's inside someone's trunk like the next minute. I don't know his name. But it was one of. He
didn't work for us.
No, it was a Moxie rep. Yeah. It was actually maybe it was a guy from Vivint. I actually don't know. Jake Owen was telling me about it.
Oh, okay.
It was one of Jake's guys.
But it wasn't one of like our reps.
No, not on Tim's side. Funny. But anyways, yeah.
Just hits the car, goes through the back. What is that? Back window.
So, yeah, and I guess he was like, okay.
It's impossible to look like normal driving a Segway. Dude, anyways,
have you guys ever? Like,
so when you biff it, like,
have you guys ever eaten it on your Segway? Just beef.
Yeah, hard? A couple times. Not hard, but like There was a couple witnesses when I did it.
Really?
And yeah, it's just impossible to regain your.
No, there's no
going back.
no cool way to recover from that.
No. You just switch streets and never go back.
The worst is when you're segueing away
Cross
from
out the area. Like, see you guys.
the worst is
All
when,
these guys are unsellable. We're going to the next one.
the worst is when you're segueing away from someone's door, like after having an interaction with them.
Oh,
and you get back on your Segway, you're like, you like just like die. You're like, oh, they're like, are you
Dude,
okay?
oh, bro. Okay,
No.
accidentally
Vegas.
go through their flower bed or something.
Yeah,
Bro, let me just say, Vegas is so hot. I've never been anywhere hot. And people in Vegas are like, oh, whatever. Same thing with Arizona. I assume it's similar to Arizona, but
Yeah.
it is so hot. I don't know if you got it this hot in Albuquerque or whatever. I've never experienced anything like it where like there's wind that is
It's
like the wind
dry
is hot.
heat. Yeah, it's like someone takes a
Yeah.
hair dryer and
Blow
is just
dryer,
like
yeah.
The wind is
soaking
not
in the
relief.
blow
You'd
dryer.
rather no wind.
Yeah, that's
because
how
it's hot.
Albuquerque is. In the
Okay,
summer,
yeah, there you go.
It's not as hot as Vegas, but that is
it's a limited.
I've
belief,
never
but yeah,
like to the point where like I didn't
wind
like
is not real, Hyrum.
I didn't like I like tradition. I like hate ice water. It's sensitive to my teeth. I don't like the taste. Like it's like I just want normal cold water. Vegas literally converted me to ice water because your water, when you ask for water on the doors, within 15 to 20 minutes, it's like warm, like really warm, like too warm to drink. And so you'd have to ask water like every time. Anyway, our Segways, I've never even like had this before, but the Segway like
They
heats
shut
up.
down,
You have to
right?
park it in the shade. Because it's so hot, they'll like beep it, like and then you have to like turn it off.
Well,
or park
even in the
shade.
shades, you just have to turn
insane.
it off sometimes because it's not like.
Yeah, you have to park in the shade and then turn it off
Yeah.
because it's so freaking hot.
Dude.
I've never experienced heat like that, bro. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
There's some
is
times in Dallas
unbelievable.
where like
It
our
wasn't-
iPads would overheat for sure,
Yeah.
and you just like heat warning. And so I'd be on a doorstep about ready to sign somebody up, and I look down at my iPad, and it's like
You're like,
Yeah,
Heat
and you
warning.
get that. Yeah, you
Gosh
get that
dang
in
it.
Vegas and stuff, or in Atlanta as well. But
or whatever it says, it's like overheated.
what are we? I
Right.
remember like neutral statements. It was 117 degrees.
Yeah.
Dude, you know what's crazy?
Factually?
You know what's crazy? Our best day of the summer was the hottest day of the summer.
How hot was it?
I think it was 117 degrees.
Wow.
And it was our best day. We like PR'd by far.
it was
in
during
the
the
middle, it was in the
tournament.
middle of the team tournament.
Don't you
Yeah.
feel like
Everyone's
there's
just
just
grinding.
this threshold of heat where like it can't possibly feel more hot than
Yeah.
it feels, and so it doesn't matter even if it gets hotter. You're just like, there's no way it feels hotter than this right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah,
It's also, I'd almost like, I don't know. I mean, it's miserable for sure to be that hot, but it's like you get to this point where you're just sweating so much and you're so uncomfortable that you
just
just
accept it.
You just accept it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, I'm soaking wet and like, I look like I just jumped in a pool and it's cool. I'm just going to keep knocking doors. And it's almost like it's past the point of you have where it gets hot and it's like, oh, this is like uncomfortable and I'm kind of starting to sweat and like whatever.
But you're still trying
then
to
it's
stay
like,
comfortable.
yeah, when you're just like soaked and your shirt is just like wet and it's like you just jumped in a pool and you're just like, yeah, it's like I'm dying next door.
Exactly.
Yeah.
and there's like no end in sight.
Yeah.
It's probably like prisoners feel, right?
It's nothing
Like
to lose.
like prisoners of war. Yeah. Just no end in sight. It just gets us so bad. We're like prisoners of war. I probably could do well in that scenario. I'm hard enough.
I think that's extrapolated
Stay
a
hard.
little bit extreme, but sure.
Should we
Yeah,
ask
yeah,
Mike?
come
Should we
sell.
ask Mike? and say, hey, Mike, I think I could
Mike
like
is the
I could
Navy
do
SEAL.
buds,
He's literally
Mike.
right over there. I'm like,
Mike.
yeah,
How hard was
I bet I
buds?
could take you on an ultra marathon, and she's like,
Shut up.
okay. So I was talking to him before because we're gonna go do jujitsu tomorrow,
Mhm.
and at Rich's gym, and he's like, "Where's the gym?" So I get in, and I like give him the address, right? And he's like, "Oh, that's not very far away." And I like look, I'm like 6 miles. He's like, "I think I'll probably just run."
6 miles.
That's insane.
Yeah. Dude, the thought for me, a normal civilian who is weak AF compared to him, it's like the thought of running to jujitsu before doing jujitsu, me knowing what jujitsu entails, I'm like, F no. But he's like, oh, that's not bad. I think I'll run.
And then run back
Yeah.
after.
Jeez.
Beast.
I mean, 6 miles isn't that long, but like a taxing jujitsu practice.
Do you run ever?
Do I look like I run?
No.
Genuinely, no. I actually do enjoy running, but like I haven't ran probably in
Dude, I hate
a month
running.
and a half or so. But I was running every day for a second.
I feel like that's the problem with high school sports is running is always a punishment.
Yeah.
And so you're conditioned to hate it. That's why I hate it. I think I would genuinely enjoy it.
Actually, that's yeah.
That is a
'cause
good point.
I played soccer and running was a warm up. We'd run 3 miles as a warm up before practice, and running's
enjoy it?
nostalgic for me. I'm like, oh my gosh, this
You
is
like it?
Oh,
yeah,
for
it's like good
basketball
feelings.
guys, yeah, it's. Oh my! All right, everyone on the line.
Like, no.
Yeah,
it's always
it was
a punishment.
Yeah.
Dude, what I'm trying to think if I have any other funny stories that are like relevant to what we've been talking about. I
got some funny videos for sure.
Dude, have you guys
that are
seen
not
that video
appropriate.
of Braden Connor beefing it on his Segway?
No.
Oh my gosh, I have to show you this. Dude, this one's funny. So Braden Connor, he did B2B sales, and we all know Braden, right? He did B2B sales before he came and worked with us. This is Braden Connor, first day he gets the Segway in his first summer knocking. Okay,
Is this you videoing this?
no, this is Braden Searle and Jason Stevenson.
She ordered it because it just got in stock today. No way. Because it was out of stock, and we're like, well,
Oh my gosh. Is that even a bump?
They don't even catch it on video. All you see is like, because they're laughing
The
so hard.
Segway
All you see is the
flying.
Segway just like tumbling.
How
Dude,
that was
it was
such
just
an
on
easy-
the ground.
That was such an easy curb.
it just got in stock today. No way. Because it was out of stock, and we're like, well,
What happened there? I want to
see
know
a
what
Segway.
happened, dude.
You see
No
a
one
Segway
knows what
flying.
happened.
And he's just like laying in that person's yard.
Bro, he had the whole It was,
That
he
was
had his
his
whole
first
life ahead of
day.
him.
That was his first
It
day.
literally, there was
Braden.
nothing that could possibly have made that happen. He,
No,
like, there was
'cause,
no
like, look,
rock.
there's
There was no
like,
nothing.
There's no real like.
It's not
lid
even a
on the
bump.
It was
curb.
just a gradual curb. I mean, it was the easiest thing you possibly could
Easy,
do.
Well, okay, so actually I don't know if you guys caught this part, but the funniest part of this video for me is like, look at what Braden does before he crashes.
she ordered it because it just got in stock today.
What did he do? What
Did you
is
see
that?
Did you get
the
that?
Catholic
He just
thing?
does it like the cross, yeah.
Because it just got in stock today. No way.
The camera just cuts. And then it's
And then just the Segway rolling. Dude, that's funny.
oh no.
That's way funny. Wait, who videoed that?
I want that
Braden
video.
Searle did.
Oh, that's so
Yeah,
funny.
Braden Searle did.
I just don't get how the Segway is flipping.
Exactly. Like,
No,
How do you
right?
get the
Like,
Segway
look,
yeah.
like that?
like at this point, right?
Everything's fine.
Everything is just beautiful,
Fine,
right?
and
Like
then
he
just-
just has to just jump up there, and then we lose him for a sec,
And you just get
and
the
then you just get the Segway.
The
Look at
Segway
that.
is upside down.
Look at that.
It just starts like it launches like into outer space.